The White House. I have sources on Capitol Hill who have confirmed this. Those around the High Court seem a little bit knowledgeable that this is going to happen, but don't have it firmly because Breyer hasn't announced it officially.
Right. It would be very unusual for him to do so. Typically, justices announce their retirement at the very end of the term or at the end of the final oral arguments for that term, which would be toward the end of April. But by kind of informally letting people know in Washington, whether in the White House or on Capitol Hill, this can kind of get the ball rolling so that President Biden can be ready to announce his possible replacement. Those hearings can get started earlier in the summer. A justice will be confirmed by the time the next court session starts in October, and of course, well in advance of the midterm. So it is a way of kind of depoliticizing the process. It's a way that, if that's possible with the Supreme Court, and it's a way that Justice Breyer could kind of get in front of this before that drumbeat of pressure starts up again from progressives that he stepped down. He was very almost insulted last year by, and I was told by multiple people at the court, that there was this pressure on him to step down because of everything he's done for the court. He's a very much a prominent figure who goes out and talks about the court, the integrity of the court, like they're just kind of trying to throw him out with the trash. By doing this now, it kind of stops that drumbeat that he retire, and it makes it look, in Justice Breyer's view, much less political.
Much less political. Well, we'll see if that lasts. Our senior White House and political correspondent, Ed O'Keefe, joins us now from the North Lawn of the White House. Ed, I read Jen Psaki's tweet. Any other atmospherics or implications for this White House from your vantage point?
We have some indication here, Major, that there was a heads-up given to the White House. They're not commenting on the details of that. The president is actually expected to appear just after the top of the hour with CEOs and auto industry leaders to talk about the future of his economic agenda. It is likely now, when reporters go in, that we will, of course, press him on whether he was told for certain last week or in recent days by the justice that he planned to retire and what his plans are going forward. It's important to remind people at this point that this sets up President Biden to make some history if he opts to fulfill a campaign pledge. He told me in June 2020 that he intends to nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court, saying, quote, "It's long overdue for a woman of color to serve on the court." So who might he potentially pick? There are several names, and Jan, if I miss someone, you should include them, but three that have been mentioned. Among them, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who now serves on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. She's a 50-year-old former federal district court judge and was confirmed notably with 53 votes. California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger, who's 44, a former Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Office of Legal Counsel, comes from the home state of the Vice President, Kamala Harris, a former member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, also deeply involved in past Supreme Court fights. The third name mentioned, Candace Jackson Akawumi, a new judge on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, confirmed to that bench in June, also with 53 votes. Why is 53 notable? Because remember, the Senate rules as currently written now only require 50 senators to confirm a justice. And with 3 Republican votes, in this case, Senators Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Lindsey Graham, it suggests there would be bipartisan support potentially if the president were to pick one of these 2 women who currently serve on the federal bench.
Jan, before we jump off, I just want to get a chance to see any other names, or did Ed summarize
No, I
those?
think that's a really, I think, pretty short list of contenders. There's one other judge, Michelle Childs, who's a favorite of Clyburn, who you know, and has been a big supporter. Jim Clyburn, who's been a big supporter.
Democrat from South Carolina.
Right. So I think we might want to add her to the mix as well. But again, I mean, I think the president seems very well poised to kind of fulfill that pledge that he would nominate the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court. All these women are highly qualified. Ketanji Jackson, for example, clerked for Justice Breyer, so my guess is that might be Justice Breyer's sentimental favorite.
A good amount of politics and quite obviously some possible history to be made in the not-too-distant future. Our coverage will continue on CBS News, streaming your local news, and tonight on the CBS Evening News. This has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Major Garrett, reporting from Washington.